Hello, my Aquarius friends. This is Kristen Redmond, Astrological Intuitive, and today we are going to be going over the planetary aspects that are making up the landscape of 2024 for you. And what a year! What a past couple years, right? This is such a once in a lifetime event that is happening for you, and we're going to be kind of talking about that first, and it'll be an undercurrent for everything because it will be the undercurrent of everything for you for the next 20 years anyway. But what we have out there in the sky is a planet of reinvention, right? That's reinventing you, it's reinventing your life. And as an Aquarius, you are the sign that embodies reinvention. You are the sign that involves innovative ideas and finding them and putting them into practice for everybody else, right? To better mankind. And so we have the planet of transformation, Pluto, that is quite an interesting little bugger in general, right? So Pluto is one of those planets, it's the furthest planet. Well, I guess that's not true. They're finding planetoids out there that are further than Pluto. They're actually bigger than Pluto, but whatever, they're not planets. But anyway, so Pluto is way out there in the universe and or in the solar system. And it would take us 10 years to get there. If we got on a rocket ship today and we flew ourselves out there, it would take 10 years to get there. It's so far away. And because of that, it takes 250 years for it to make a revolution around the sun, where we take 365 days. So 250 of our years equals one of Pluto's years. And in that process, it takes so long that in astrology, we look at it that these are the slower moving aspects of Pluto that make the major transformations in our lives because they don't come on so quickly. They take a long period of time to happen. And so Pluto moved into the sign of Capricorn in 2008. And it is finally leaving. As it went through the sign of Capricorn, it restructured and it redefined and it transformed all the things Capricorn, and that's the foundations under our feet. Government falls into that, big business falls into that. All the things that we looked at as the familiar has gone through a complete transformation, has it not? And it finally left that sign last year for a little bit. It bebopped back into your sign here, or it moved into your sign for a minute. So you had a preview of this last year, but now it's finally landing in your sign. And as it does that, it's working on completely transforming you. Now, you may have already gone through this transformation, especially if you're an early Aquarius. So your birthday is going to kind of land right on that cusp of Capricorn in Aquarius. If you're one of them, you may have already gone through this, where it's a complete transformation. When Pluto goes over the top of our ascendant in a chart, or when I talk about charts, we're putting you at the ascendant here right now, Aquarius. So people with an Aquarius ascendant chart would also have this too. Where when it goes over the top, it completely changes how the world sees you. It can completely changes your outlook on the world. It can completely change your appearance, right? People won't know who you are compared to who you used to be. And that's the beauty of it, right? You are meant to be an authentic soul. You are the sign of authenticity. And if you are not living an authentic life to who you are, Pluto is going to come around and dramatically shift it, and it's going to dramatically change it. Your ruling planet Uranus will bring things through unexpectedly to shake you out of these comfort zones that are kind of derailing you from your purpose. And your purpose is to be proud of who you are. Aquarians are different. Aquarians are unique. They can be quirky. They can be full of electricity. Some may even call it ADHD, but it is. You're full of amazing ideas and energy that come through. Uranus is a very electric planet. It rules technology and all these things. So you find that our Aquarian friends are very technologically based and all these things. But that energy also flows through you. So you're like a live wire of this, especially if you have Aries in your chart as well. But anyway, so with that, it may be that you're not everybody's cup of tea. You might say things differently, act differently, dress differently, be different. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. And you've come here this lifetime to understand that that's okay. But a past life, you always had people telling you who to be, what to be, how to be. And that's why you wanted to come in and incarnate as an Aquarius this lifetime, to be proud of who you are. But that doesn't mean that we do it. We can spend an entire lifetime being who others want us to be, trying to fit in, trying to do these things, even though you have this free spirit energy in you that says it's not right. And that can be one of the major lessons you learn through relationship, is people that try to confine you into being what they need you to be. Pluto comes around and it says, that's not right. You are meant to be this unique soul. Be proud of who you are. And as it goes through, you may find, Aquarius, wherever you fall on this gamut, maybe you've already gone through the transformations. And when I say that, that means making the necessary sacrifices of letting things go that are preventing you from being happy, right? Being happy. You're a sign that's concerned about mankind. Remember, I said that earlier. And you're very, very much accommodating to make sure that everybody else is happy around you, but then your happiness suffers. And so when this energy comes around, it's going, what makes me happy? What does even make me happy? I don't even know anymore what makes me happy in this life. And now this is a year where you're starting to step into it if you haven't already. And the more that you can make these changes, the better off you're going to be, right? When we resist change, that's when damage happens, right? Physically, psychologically, spiritually, when we resist the change and that inner voice that's yelling at us that something has to change. Listen to it. It can be in relationship, career, uh, home, maybe outdated mindsets. Maybe you've got just this negative mindset that's constantly in there telling you, no, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. This is where Pluto is transforming and changing that, right? Absolutely. Just listen to it. Um, I just puked out a whole lot there. I think oh, well, hey, well, anyway. Um, oh, I like this. I wrote this down, and you know what? We're going to say it right now. Yes, this is the situation where you are the caterpillar to the butterfly. This ties right in. Where, when you think of it, a caterpillar's out there moving around, and he realizes and recognizes, I wasn't born to be this caterpillar, right? I need to become a butterfly. I want to be bright. I want to be beautiful. I want to do my own thing. So for a season, it goes into its cocoon, and you may find that you either have been through it, maybe you're in that cocoon now, maybe you're getting ready to go into that cocoon, but you know that you need to become who you're meant to be, because that's where the happiness is at. And so when you think of it, caterpillar gets in his little cocoon and it all happens. One thing that I've come to realize recently is that when this event happens, the caterpillar doesn't just sprout some wings and all of a sudden it's a butterfly. It liquefies in that cocoon, in its safe space. It completely transforms. It doesn't want to take the past and bring it into the future. It knows that it has to go through the sacrifice of destroying who he used to be in order to become all that he can, right? And we know that's a painful process. It's messy. There is going to be pain involved. There are going to be people who are hurt. There might be people that don't see it because they see you as what they want you to be, right? And in time, they will start to understand that that wasn't who you are, and they will love who you've become because they love you, right? There is a lot of pain and change that comes with growth and transformation, and you understand that very much, very, very much so. Um, and I'm going to play into this. I'm going to bypass money and we'll come back to that in a second. But especially if this is a thing where you're worried about upsetting those around you for making these changes, and they can be extraordinarily dramatic changes, right? It might be you completely changing your career. I've seen it in so many different ways when Pluto transits someone's ascendant, where something really dramatic changes in their life, right? And that's okay. You feel it coming, you're ready for it coming. Now, if you're worried about that impacting your family, this is a great thing. We've got Jupiter, the planet of luck, opportunity, and expansion, moving into your fourth house of home and family, where it has not been for 12 years. Jupiter takes 12 years to go around the sun, where we take that 365. And so it hasn't been here in a while. When you have Jupiter moving into your home of house and family, lucky things happen. Maybe you can't see how it happens now, but Jupiter brings these opportunities. And Jupiter really, I feel it so strongly saying now, it comes from honesty. Jupiter is a planet that wants things to be clear and understood and concise. And so it brings a very high level of truth and honesty. And that is going through that house of home and family. And that is where this honest dialogue comes through in saying it. And when you do, Jupiter can bring these blessings to kind of smooth over the cracks and bring everybody to a new understanding, right? Another thing I have found where Jupiter moves into that fourth house of home and family, maybe you're looking to move, right? I see this time and again when I look at clients' charts when they have Jupiter going through there, that they're looking to move. And especially now with the way that the world is, that may seem like that's not such a possibility, right? Because of interest rates and the housing market the way that it is and things. Your logical mind can't see how that's going to work, especially if you really got a lot of Capricorn in your chart where it wants a structure and a plan and all this stuff. You can't see a way, so you lose faith that it can happen. Jupiter's the planet of faith. Jupiter is the planet of luck, and it's the planet of trusting that miracles can happen because it is the planet of miracles. And so where it comes through, maybe there were brick walls of interest rates and houses not being available or whatever. Jupiter's going to make it so that maybe somebody who doesn't even put the house on the market thinks of you first. A realtor finds it first and tells you. Interest rates can dramatically change. And let me tell you how that's in a couple of ways. I'm going to tell you right now because you're probably already thinking about it. So Uranus, your planet of unexpected things, right? It moves us out of our comfort zones and it shakes things up. It moves in an 80-year cycle around the sun, so it takes a long time. Now, it moved into the sign of Taurus, which deals with the economy, money, finances, healthcare system, all of those things. Has not been there since the Great Depression. And guess when it landed back into Taurus? March 20th, 2020. What happened with our economy and our healthcare system and all those things at that time frame? What happened back in the Great Depression, right? What it is, remember, Aquarius and Uranus is about reinvention. It comes through and it goes, we got a bunch of problems happening in these systems. Let's shake it up. That's what it does, right? And so where there are these dramatic ups and downs and such that have been happening in the world of the economy, it can easily, on a dime, change back to where interest rates are good. You just got to have faith that that can happen, right? Look at how much things have fluctuated just since 2020 when it comes to this, right? It will happen again. Uranus leaves Taurus at the end of 25, so I see dramatic changes. It always makes its biggest impact at first when it goes in and when it leaves. So keep that in mind because Jupiter is going to be transiting that house of home and family then, that maybe what you're worrying about could change on a dime, right? Absolutely. It's a very positive thing, right? That's just the Uranus aspect. Then we have Jupiter bringing those lucky breaks and opportunities at the same exact time, right? Maybe Jupiter is also about expansion. Maybe you're looking to expand your family. This is a great time to add to the family, whether that's through a birth, through marriage, adding people in, having maybe the in-laws moving into your home because they're getting older and they can't do that anymore on their own. There's so much that happens. Maybe you can't figure out the plan now, but Jupiter will help you find that. But the caveat is you got to have trust and you got to have faith. That's what Jupiter is. It loves giving us lucky breaks, but we got to believe that we're deserving of them. Right? We got to believe that we deserve it. And when we do, we have trust in the universe and we have trust in ourself that we can follow what our intuition and our higher self is telling us. Believe, 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 believe. Now, let's say money is a factor, right? Maybe money is a factor, maybe. And you know why? Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why money is all of a sudden becoming an issue. Because Saturn, the planet of restriction, has landed in your financial sector where it has not been for 29 years. So this started last year, midway through, and it is going to be there for the next 29 years. That's not saying your finances are restricted this entire time. I'm not saying that now. What I'm saying is that it comes in and all of a sudden it's in this process of like restructuring your finances. It's restructuring your belief system and your relationship to money, right? But what it is, right, that second house where it's moved into, it's not just money. It's about how you feel you're deserving, not just of the money that you make, but also how deserving you are of many things in life. If you've had a lifetime, my Aquarian friend, where you were confined by what everybody wanted you to be, your views of yourself, your self-esteem and your self-worth are going to be a little bit lower, all right, than others. You may put on the facade that you're cool and happy and, Aquarian in all the ways that you are, but deep down, you have a very strong disbelief in yourself and what your value is. Now, Saturn has spent 29 years making you realize that. And as it comes into this house, the more that you value yourself, and that could be by making these dramatic changes we talked about earlier, it will heal that wound. It is working to heal it because that's kind of what Saturn is. It looks for where there's cracks in the foundations of whatever that house might be, and it looks to fill them, right? And it looks to fill them with some stone cold reality. So as we have these events that make us step back and go, I don't deserve that. I deserve better than this. That's when we make the changes. But that also comes with money as well. And so you may find that, yes, Saturn is being restrictive with your money starting last year, and that's going to kind of really continue throughout this year. It's a matter of really kind of tightening the belt and looking to see where money is going, how we want to put it in different areas. That's a great way to put our planning to use because that's the best way to utilize it when it goes through that second house. And because of this, it might result in a mini crisis for you, my Aquarius friend, because maybe you had this all figured out and you've had money all this time and it's been great. And all of a sudden now all these things happen externally with the world and it's really impacting your bottom line and it's causing a bit of a mini crisis. Okay, I can almost see that. Now, know that that's okay, right? Because that's kind of part of all these major planetary shifts. Like I said, they make the biggest impact when they go in and then when they leave. But it's creating this crisis to help you reconfigure. And that is a test of that faith, right? That we were just talking about before. Know that these things aren't here to wipe you out. They're here to make something that's an even better foundation and nest egg for you moving forward for the next 30 years than you could have ever imagined. But it couldn't happen without these unexpected twists and turns. Just listen to what your intuition is and have faith that even though you're being put to the test, that you can survive it and you will, okay? You are developing new beliefs around the money and what you deserve, everything we just said. You are coming out of this process with all of these major planetary aspects with a whole new concept of self. And that involves your self-worth, your self-esteem, and everything around you, right? Saturn is definitely going to tighten the belt, but I tell you, it's not going to tighten you. It will pay off. It's not like you're going to be living off of breadcrumbs eating with the mice on the floor. I mean, come on, let's be real here. And don't let your mind go to that either, Aquarius, because your mind moves so quickly and it moves so fast that it can take over. And we need to put the right mindsets in there. And that's kind of what this Pluto and Saturn thing is doing. It's reinventing how you have concept of the world and the way that your mind works and what it's telling you, right? Absolutely. For sure. How do I want to say that too? Let's think of this. Yeah, because Mercury uh, I don't know. I just looked at this and it was talking about love, so we'll kind of get into this, and I'll probably thread it in somewhere in there. Are the things that we tell our mind and the things that we believe that may not be reality, right? Mercury is the planet of the mind, and it is the planet of communication, and it retrogrades in all of the fire signs this year. So it's how we act on things is really what we're going to be looking at in those retrogrades. Retro has us looking to the past, and so we have that happening in your house of relationship, marriage, partnership. So there's a lot of looking to the past with how relationships have gone and how you've communicated your needs, how the other person has communicated your needs, and how you've worked that out, right? This is a year of reassessing your communication around relationship, right? So that you can say what you need and be heard, right? And vice versa in both of those situations. But I'm looking at it too with your own mindset, what you tell yourself about relationship. Um, that's definitely something that needs some shift and some change. And where the eclipses are happening this year are going to be happening in those communication houses for you as well too. So there is eclipses. I'm getting way the hell ahead of myself. So eclipses, they look to where things are kind of stagnated and not working for us. Maybe we're stuck in some ruts or comfort zones, or maybe there's some old behaviors and things that don't work for us. Now, not only does Pluto transform that, but the eclipses bring it to light for us. And where that's happening is in these houses of conscious mind and in reality here. So for you. So in the spring and in the fall, when these eclipses happen, it kind of makes it known to you. You're going to see externally situations where those communication breakdowns might be happening, where that mindset of getting, spinning out of control might be happening. And then where the eclipse is, as it goes, that doesn't work. That don't work. Let's let it go. And if you can recognize it in these eclipse time frames, you have the ability to completely change them and transform them, which is great because you've got all these other planets working to do it as well too, right? They all thread together. That's the amazing thing of astrology. So where there, not only is the eclipses happening there, the north node and the south node are there as well too. And what that means, let me condense that because this video is going to be 28 minutes long here, but the north node, or the true node, like my channel is here in astrology, is our soul's destiny. It's our purpose this lifetime, where we are gravitating towards and where our soul wants to go. But on the opposing side, because remember in astrology, everything's got an opposing side, is it's the south node. And that's our most recent past life. That's our comfort zones and where we gravitate to, because that's what we know. But that's not where we're supposed to go. We're supposed to get away from the south node. And so where the south node is at, is in that house of communication. These communication styles that maybe you don't like, right? The way that you talk to yourself, the way that you view things, the way that your mind takes things out of control, that's a past life thing. And as the South Node goes through its 20-year cycle of your house of communication this year, along with these eclipses, it's getting you to recognize that these are old karmic debts that you don't need to carry anymore, and you can release them. You can absolutely release them. And so when these eclipses happen, let me tell you, March 25th, April 8th, September 17th, and October 2nd, those are going to be billboards, but they're also going to be times when you can make the changes. Changes don't happen immediately. It's each time you do it. Each time you recognize, oh, that's my mind doing it again. I'm going to say this instead. You're changing it. And before you know it, it'll be completely different. Your whole communication style will be different. Now, also with that, let's keep in mind that on the other side, where that north node is at, it's about your higher mind. It's trusting what your instincts are telling you, your higher self is telling you. We're getting away from the conscious lower brain, the reptilian brain, in the way that it keeps us stuck. And we're moving to what our higher self is saying. That first thing that's more positive and optimistic and says it's going to be okay. Listen to that. Now, another thing too, side note, that with the north node going through that ninth house, you might be taking additional courses. You may be going back to school. Maybe there's more seminars. Maybe you're teaching more too, because you've accrued all this knowledge, and maybe you're teaching more this year. That's another thing. But another thing the ninth house does is travel. So you may find that you're traveling this year, but these travels are very enriching. It's not just going and hanging out on the beach or whatever. You're going and you're really immersing yourself in that because it's helping to change that mindset of slowing down and being in the present moment. Absolutely. So that's where that's at. Wow, this is going to be a long video, but I tell you what, you're the sign that's getting the most this year. So I want to pay attention to you, right? Now, everything I'm saying here is in general for Aquarius, right? This is setting the trajectory for the next 20 years. But if you want to see how your chart is being impacted by all of these things, maybe it's career that's getting the biggest makeover. Maybe it's the house of children. Maybe it's a relationship. There's a link below. You can get a hold of me and we can do a reading for your specific chart by Zoom. But this is where these slower moving planets I talked about, these are going to be impacting you. So if you and I talked, it would be this happening anyway. You know what I mean? You may find that all of these, even if your birthday doesn't fall in it, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm going through. I say take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's where we're going to go with that. So if your birthday is January 24th or January 21st through the 24th, Pluto is conjuncting your sun. Where I started this at with the process of transformation, you've already probably gone through it. You've already reinvented how you look, who you are, what you want to be. And if you have not, if you've reached that breaking point, this is the year where you're going within, you're doing the introspection, you're becoming that caterpillar to the butterfly, emerging, right? So either you've emerged as the butterfly and you're ready to fly in the world, or you're going into that cocoon this year to find what that looks like and what that's going to be. Remember that it's what makes you happy is going to be your guiding light, right? You are meant to step into the light, Aquarius, right? But you got to have the courage to step into it, right? The light's waiting. You just got to have the courage to do it. And this is a year where it's doing that, right? You're changing your perspective of who you are and where you're going. And there's the power behind it. A little bit of effort goes a long way. Let me tell you, it will. If your birthday is February 10th through the 18th, Uranus, your ruling planet of electricity, is squaring up against your sun. When it does that, whoa, restless energy. You want things to change. You are getting the messages and you're ready for them to change, right? You're ready to be true to yourself. You're ready to find that authentic self. Listen to it, right? It isn't selfish. We incarnate here for our soul's growth. Yes, some of us have lessons to learn with other relationships and giving and taking in them, but we aren't meant to give up our identity and who we are for others. And you may find that this year, right? Embrace change, embrace the unexpected that comes. And the more that you resist it, the more that it's going to persist, right? That old adage right there. Now we have the ability, right? Like I always like to say, we all are our own psychic source, right? We have the ability to manifest what it is that we need in our lives and what we want in our lives and to change that. We can do that at new moons and full moons. We can do it any time, but the strongest time is at a new moon to manifest what we want. And full moons are where we release what we don't need anymore. So your new moon for Aquarius this year is on February 9th, and your full moon is on August 19th. Put your seeds of intention, what you manifest, in on February 9th. Release what is in your way. The universe makes it known. These things aren't surprises to you. You're going to already be feeling it, seeing it, living it. Releasing at the full moon, August 19th. So that covers everything. I think I want to end this one for you saying that this is a once in a lifetime thing, right? The whole world is going through a transformation. We're going into the dawn of the age of Aquarius. This is it. This is everything we've heard of. And you incarnated as an Aquarius to be a leader somehow, some way in that. Live in it. Live in that light. Step into the light and be proud to be who you are. All right. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful 24.